What is up, everybody? Hey, today's a pretty quick video, I think, but we'll see. We'll see. I gotta talking about wearing the hats. Wait, I'm looking up there. Oh, it's been a long day. Talk about wearing the hats. Yesterday, when I was talking about wearing the hats of business owner, today I've been on calls. I just got off a call with Keenan. What's up, man? He's a business guy that we'll talk about next Wednesday. It looks like we're going to do a little podcast on my Dave Grenier podcast. Uh, so he and I were chatting for like 2 hours, and or before that, I was dealing with a photography bid. So like it's been busy, and I still have a lot of work to do. Oh, you know what? This is probably going to be terrible. I'm going to do that little small thing. You don't really want a yellow and a white, and it can make you look sickly. So, you know what else too? I don't like. I have no idea how my hair looks really. So let's just throw that on. Beautiful little representation. Yep. Okay. I'm also using my Rode mic today because my DJI mic I didn't charge. And I little pro tip for you: always put this guy back in the charging case. I thought that it was much more powered than it was, and but that's okay. That's why I got this thing. So anyway, wearing multiple hats and the idea of being a business person, I touched on this yesterday, is I have, you know what? I don't like you up there. I don't like you up there. Let's bring you back down here. Okay. So I've had to, there we go. Yeah, not bad. I've had to wear multiple hats. I said yesterday that uh, I've had to look at this through the eyes of I am now a businessman who does photography, and so most of my time isn't doing photography. It's actually going through and trying to get the business and building those relationships, and then having like the conversation that I just had was close to 2 hours, but it was a good conversation amongst peers, and it was good. You never know where the conversation's going to go, and I've been lucky that I've had a background that gives me versatility to really enjoy conversation with people and like go from one thing to another. And I think the hardest thing about running my own business is, where am I going to get the contracts? Are they going to make sense? I have people that I'd like to pull in. I have some specialists that I would love to work for 124, but I don't yet have the ability to pay their employment or create a stable solution for them that makes sense. And I want 124 to be a very small team, a very niche team, very, there's certain specialists. I kind of got that idea from when I was in design school and I learned about Stefan Sagmeister. If you don't know him, look him up. And they're kind of like, they're smaller, more intimate knowledge of each other, and like each person is a specialist. So let's say, for example, I have a photographer, primary photographer. I'm the business owner, or I'd love to still be out there doing the stuff because I love doing it. Like I don't want to just be the guy that crunches the numbers in the business and whatnot, but I also love the relationship building. Like I love to have conversations like this, and you get to learn so much about people, um, from the smallest things. And I'm smiling because Keenan asked me about, we were talking about morning routines, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to judge you, something along the lines of like, I'm going to judge you. What is it that you put in your oatmeal? Because I have oatmeal every single morning. And so he was able to deduce some of who I am based off of what I put in my oatmeal. So nothing crazy. It's like it's peanut butter, bananas, flax meal, cinnamon, and usually some like slivered almonds or something like that. Once in a while, if I don't have any bananas, I'll throw in some honey or agave, the darker amber. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is business ownership and being a businessman or woman. And I feel like there have been times where I've been able to have a break from the business stuff. It feels like a break because I'm having conversations, meaningful conversations, the uh, the ability to connect with somebody else on a real level. That's where I feel my most comfortable. When I feel like I can kick back like this and, maybe have a cup of coffee and talk to whoever it is and help them create solutions to maybe some problems. And I don't even mean like they call me up to do business. I mean like we're just having a conversation and I'm a professional who does something. And it's like, oh, hey, well, you could probably do this. And they could do it for me too. It's just that act of connection between two or more people and organically, naturally, genuinely connecting to a point where it's not just networking. And I actually wrote on my blog, I had a blog a while ago on my website that is not currently active because I want to revisit the stuff that I said just to make sure that it's, I mean, it's older stuff. It was like 10 years ago. But like what I said about networking, one of the things that I said about networking back then was that kind of what I'm saying now, where the idea of networking typically is like, oh, let's go to a networking event. And, you're dressed up and it's the idea is to hand out your business card. But for me, the kind of business that I like to do, the way that I like to grow is slow. And I think there's advantages to that. Number one being, I'm not looking for somebody to do something for me. I'm not looking to build a connection. I'm not looking to network so that that person can connect me to somebody else. There are times where I might want to work with somebody and I might say, oh, hey, person X, is there any way that you could introduce us? Because I'd love to work with them. So that's different than I'm just going to go to a networking event and try to hand out my business card and like talk to people. And like, I don't feel like if I don't feel like they're somebody necessarily that, okay, story time. You ready? So I went to a conference. It's always story time with me. Okay. So I went to a conference last year and it had nothing to do, it was a construction conference. And I just went because I'm trying to think differently. What other photographers go to construction conferences? Well, I'm a construction photography specialist. It's not all I do, but it is a part of what I do. And it's a high-end barrier of entry for photographers. So there's few of us in that realm. So I wanted to go and see, not even network to talk to, not even network to try to like sell my business card. Of course I was handing out my business card, but more, it wasn't just like willy-nilly. It was after I had conversations with people. And I think I handed it out to 5 people. And to me, that means more because I had a connection. And if they come back and they contact me, I have a better chance of remembering who they were because I only handed it out to 5 people, 10 people, whatever it was. It is very, very little, but I was having a conversation with somebody at the booth, 2 guys at the booth. I was actually probing about what it was that they were doing because I wanted to know more about what they were doing because I'm a storyteller. And from the construction perspective, the photos that I go and take, I don't just take them because of like, oh, hey, look, this is the new roadway. This is what it looks like now. Voila. Like I see every opportunity, or I see every every shot is an opportunity to tell the story. So yeah, maybe it's just like this is what the detour looks like now, or this is the rotary, and that's fine. But what's the larger picture? What is it that means that rotary means something to the people in the area that wouldn't have been done if there wasn't some sort of improvement, hopefully improvement done. And so when I meet these companies or when I see these things of like these organizations, I'm trying to dig down into their story so that I can even just I can understand it. And that's ultimately why I went to the conference, was because I wanted to understand what my clients were being exposed to. So what were the companies that were doing the booths at these places? What oh my goodness, like what sessions were they learning about? So I went to a bunch of different sessions, which if you've never been to a session, it's basically like a little classroom environment, and you say like, oh, I'm going to the building information modeling session, one of like there was like 30 of them, or the environmental impact. And so they had like these different what they call tracks. So it's like, oh, I'm on the environmental track. So it's like you'll have 10 different classes that have something to do with the environment and the construction industry's impact on the environment. So most conferences will have something like that. It might not be those tracks specifically. It might not be environmental. It might not be BIM or building information modeling, but most conferences will have something like that. But anyway, so I was having this genuinely good conversation with these two guys, but these were lower end guys. And I could tell because we were talking for about 10 minutes and there was nobody there. I was part of the early access people. So there was literally nobody there. Their booth was completely set up. So it wasn't like I was taking their time. I mean, I was, but it wasn't like I was holding them up from talking to other actual clients. And the whole time where I'm talking and having this conversation with them, I'm thinking of how can I help tell their story? And not even so that I can get a contract. I mean, because I liked what they were doing. They had this really cool building structure, like it was natural wood kind of thing. And it was about recycling local materials and whatnot. And I liked that story and what they were telling me. But anyway, somebody came by, one of the higher ups, and basically they didn't like that I was using up their time, probably because they didn't think that I was worth their time. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. That was the feeling that I got. So at the end of the day, a meaningful connection to me means more. And had we been able to have a little bit more conversation, I might have been able to help them. And I'm very happy to help people, even pro bono, because there's certain things that I really believe in. And I want to help people's message get across. If it's something that personally, it's like, hey, I'll volunteer my time for this because you might not understand how this photography or photography in general can help tell your story. Some people understand the importance of photography, but they don't understand how to do it properly or the most effective way. There's lots of different ways. Photography is subjective, but I'm a photographer, so I speak the language of photography. So I understand the challenges of what's involved with getting a photograph and then getting its message out to the stakeholders. So anyway, so it's from a business perspective too. So if you want to make that the argument too of like, well, you can't just do everything pro bono. Absolutely. That is 100% accurate. You need to make your money somehow. But if you want to make these if you create a solution for somebody, more than likely you're going to be the person that they come back to because they'll remember, oh, hey, Dave helped me out when I needed the help. And if they don't, that's okay. Cool. That's okay too. That's totally cool. We all have like chapters in our life and friends of the day, if you will. If I help somebody out right now, that doesn't mean that I expect them to use me in the future. If you're going to volunteer your time, I would recommend that it's for something that makes sense for you also, whether it's building your portfolio or if it's because something you believe in, or if you feel like it's going to help give you some sort of set of skills or challenge yourself to develop your skills on this project, especially if it's free, then the uh, the level of pressure that's on it is going to be lower. Now, doing work for free is another conversation that we'll have at some point, I'm sure, because there are people that get taken advantage of with like getting paid in pizza and smiles. You're lucky if you get pizza, but the rent doesn't get paid on pizza or smiles. So it's a good balance that you have to figure out. But building those relationships, I feel like relationships are it's not just me, the relationships are the building blocks of business. And I've been able to lean into that in a couple different ways, and I've been appreciating it. And actually, um, in some cases, I've actually been relaxed by these long conversations. Right now, talking about it, I've been talking for 16 minutes now, and I was a little bit stressed over. I have some more things that I have to do for the business. I have paperwork I got to get done, and it's already late. And but that's one of the things about this 20 days of authenticity. It's like, well, I have to do this. I have to because I promised myself that I would and promised you guys. Um, but already just having this conversation, I'm feeling more at ease and relaxed and kind of subdued. And I don't think this is going to require an awful lot of editing at all. I might cut out a couple things, probably not just the beginning and the end, or just the end. I think I have to because the timing on this is just like, I got a lot of stuff I got to finish up. I got to finish it up today. So anyway, that's it. Wearing the different hats. Which one am I wearing? Yep, that's right. 124 hat. That's another thing we're going to talk about at some point, branding, because I love branding, and there's a lot of thought that goes into this thing. At least for me, it doesn't always have to be for you, but like, I love talking about this. I nerd out over this. This is a highly designed logo. And I don't even know if you can see it because I can't see the screen. I don't know if it's blurred, but we'll find out. But anyway, you guys have a good one. I will see you tomorrow. And until next time, be good to each other.